We're diving into the explosive trial of P. Diddy. Here are 9 bombshell moments that could lock up the rapper for life. This ain't no reality TV show, this is real life with real consequences, and the stakes couldn't be higher. You see, when you reach certain heights, the fall can be catastrophic. We've seen it time and time again, but this Diddy situation is on a whole other level. The whispers have been around for years, decades even, but now it's all coming to a head in a courtroom, under the bright lights of justice, or what we hope is justice. We're peeling back the layers of fame, fortune, and power to look at the raw, unfiltered accusations that are shaking the very foundations of Bad Boy. And let me tell you, the details emerging are wild. We're talking about allegations that paint a picture so dark, it makes you question everything you thought you knew. This isn't just about music or business, it's about power, alleged abuse, and a system that might have looked the other way for too long. So buckle up, because we're about to break down 9 of the most shocking, jaw-dropping moments from this trial that are sending shockwaves through the entertainment world and beyond. This is heavy, y'all. Yo, so first up, we gotta talk about the testimony from a former bodyguard. Now these are the dudes who see everything, hear everything, and are paid to keep their mouths shut. So when one of them decides to speak, especially under oath, you know it's about to get real. This ain't no disgruntled employee looking for a quick check. This is someone who was in the inner sanctum, day in, day out. He painted a picture of a life behind the velvet rope that was anything but glamorous, detailing alleged incidents with a calm demeanor that frankly was chilling. He talked about things that would make your skin crawl, things that, if true, Diddy's got some serious explaining. He wasn't just dropping vague accusations either. Nah, he came with dates, locations, and specific scenarios that the prosecution latched onto immediately. He spoke about the atmosphere, the fear, the control. You could hear a pin drop in that courtroom. The defense tried to paint him as a liar, someone with an axe to grind, but the details, man, the details were precise. This wasn't just—
I guess she was taking the in the mouth instead of the fist in the mouth.
They say, the closest ones to you can be the ones to bring it all down. And this bodyguard, he might just be the first major crack in the dam. Then man, get this key evidence just up and vanishes. Poof, gone. We're talking about stuff that could potentially make or break the case, and suddenly, it's nowhere to be found. The prosecution is screaming foul play, the defense is shrugging their shoulders like, who, us? And the judge is looking like he's about to lose his damn mind. This ain't some amateur hour stuff, this is a high-profile trial, and evidence doesn't just grow legs and walk away. Somebody, somewhere, don't want this stuff seeing the light of day, and that right there raises all kinds of red flags. It makes you wonder what was on it, and who had the most to gain from it disappearing. The nature of this missing evidence is still a bit murky, but whispers suggest it was digital. Maybe some files, some recordings, the kind of stuff that's hard to erase completely but easy to misplace if you know the right people. The chain of custody is now under intense scrutiny. How does something so vital just disappear from a secure location? It stinks, man. It stinks to high heaven. This development threw a massive wrench in the proceedings, causing delays and fueling all sorts of conspiracy theories. And you know what? When evidence goes missing in a case this big, it rarely means good news for the accused, even if they claim innocence. It just looks suspect. And if missing evidence wasn't enough, then came the text messages. Oh, the damn text messages. Y'all know how it is. People get bold behind that keyboard, saying things they'd never say out loud. Well, the prosecution came armed with a whole heap of damning texts allegedly sent by Diddy himself, and let me tell you, they were explosive. We're talking about messages that, according to the prosecution, show a pattern of control, manipulation, and possibly even direct admissions related to the charges. The courtroom was silent as these messages were read out, displayed on screens for everyone to see. You could feel the temperature drop. These weren't just casual conversations, these were texts that painted a disturbing narrative. The defense tried to argue context, saying they were misinterpreted, taken out of proportion, you know, the usual spin. But some of this stuff, man, it's hard to spin. It's that digital footprint that always comes back to bite you. It's like, did you really think that wouldn't surface in 2024? Come on, son. These messages provided a direct line, allegedly, into Diddy's mindset and his interactions concerning the very things he's on trial for. It's one thing to hear accusations, it's another to see the words, supposedly from the man himself, laid bare. Just when you thought things couldn't get crazier, bam! The prosecution pulls a rabbit out of the hat with a surprise witness. Nobody saw this coming. The defense was scrambling, the media was buzzing, and the courtroom was on the edge of its collective seat. This person, whose identity was kept under wraps until the last possible moment, walked in, and you could just feel the entire dynamic shift. This wasn't just another name on a list. This was someone who allegedly had first-hand knowledge, a missing piece of the puzzle that could change everything. The level of secrecy around this witness hinted at the bombshells they were about to drop, and drop them they did. This individual, whose connection to Diddy or the case was previously unknown to the public, started speaking, and it was like a collective gasp went through the room. Their testimony allegedly corroborated some of the most serious claims and introduced new information that seemed to catch even Diddy's legal team off guard. The power of a surprise witness is that the defense has little time to prepare a counter-narrative to dig for dirt, to discredit them. It's a high-risk, high-reward move by the prosecution, and in this instance, it seemed to pay off, sending ripples of shock and speculation far beyond the courtroom walls. Now let's talk about the money, because you know they always follow the money. The prosecution started digging into P. Diddy's financial records, and surprise, surprise, things apparently weren't adding up. We're talking about complex transactions, shell companies, and a money trail that seemed designed to confuse and obscure. Accountants and forensic experts took the stand, breaking down spreadsheets and bank statements, pointing out anomalies that, according to them, suggested something fishy was going on. This wasn't just about personal wealth. This was about how that wealth was allegedly moved, used, and potentially used to cover up other activities. The defense, of course, argued that these were legitimate business dealings, complex, yes, but perfectly legal for a man running a global empire. But the prosecution painted a different picture, one where funds were allegedly diverted, laundered, or used to silence people. When you're dealing with the kind of figures associated with Diddy, financial investigations can uncover a whole lot more than just bad accounting. It can reveal motives, connections, and a pattern of behavior. If the prosecution can prove financial impropriety linked to the other charges, that's another heavy nail in the coffin. It's that paper trail, man. It's harder to make disappear than you think. Then, the courtroom got to hear it straight from the horse's mouth, allegedly. Incriminating phone call recordings were played, and man, there's nothing quite like hearing someone's voice in a moment they thought was private, saying things that could seal their fate. The prosecution presented these recordings as undeniable proof of Diddy's involvement in the activities he's accused of. The clarity of the audio, the content of the conversations, it was a gut punch. You could see jurors leaning in, Diddy's face reportedly unreadable as these private moments were broadcast for all to hear. These calls weren't just casual chats, they were described as containing explicit discussions, plans, and reactions. The defense immediately went on the attack, questioning the legality of the recordings, the authenticity, the context. Were they edited? Were they obtained illegally? These are all valid legal arguments, but the emotional impact of hearing those words in that voice is hard to undo. It plants a seed of doubt, or for some, a seed of confirmation. It's one thing to read a transcript, it's another to hear the tone, the inflection, the pauses. These recordings, if deemed admissible and authentic, could be devastating. It's a reminder that in this digital age, your words can be captured, stored, and used against you when you least expect it. Scary stuff. Every trial has its Perry Mason moments, or moments where things go completely off the rails during cross-examination. And this Diddy trial? It had a doozy. One of the prosecution's key witnesses was on the stand, confident, delivering their testimony. Then came the cross-examination by Diddy's high-powered legal team. They started chipping away, probing for inconsistencies, trying to rattle the witness. But then, something unexpected happened. Either the witness revealed something even more damning under pressure, something they hadn't said before, or the defense lawyer made a misstep, opening a door the prosecution gleefully walked through. It was a moment where the carefully constructed narrative of one side or the other suddenly crumbled or was unexpectedly reinforced. Maybe the witness, trying to defend themselves, blurted out a detail that inadvertently implicated Diddy further. Or perhaps a defense tactic backfired spectacularly, making their client look even worse. These are the unscripted moments that make trials so compelling and unpredictable. The judge had to bang the gavel. Lawyers were objecting left and right, pure courtroom drama. It was a twist that no one anticipated, leaving everyone wondering how this new piece of information, or this new perception, would influence the jury. Man, then things got really heavy. An emotional plea from a family member took center stage. Now, whether this was a family member of an alleged victim, or even someone from Diddy's own circle feeling the immense pressure and pain of the situation, the impact was undeniable. The courtroom, usually a place of cold, hard facts and legal jargon, was filled with raw, human emotion. Tears were shed, voices cracked, and the weight of the accusations, the potential consequences, and the human toll of it all became incredibly palpable. This wasn't about legal strategy anymore. It was about lives affected, pain laid bare for the world to see. This testimony served as a stark reminder that beyond the celebrity, the headlines, and the legal battles, there are real people whose lives have been turned upside down. The family member spoke directly, sometimes to the jury, sometimes seemingly to Diddy himself, about the suffering, the betrayal, the quest for justice or understanding. It's these moments that can sway a jury in ways that mountains of evidence sometimes can't. It humanizes the case, stripping away the spectacle and forcing everyone to confront the alleged reality of the situation. Regardless of which side this family member represented, their pain and plea resonated deeply, leaving a somber mood hanging over the proceedings. And finally we reach the closing arguments. This is where both sides get to lay it all out one last time, tying together all the evidence, all the testimony, all the emotion, into a coherent narrative they hope will convince the jury. The prosecution went first, methodically recounting every damning piece of evidence, every shocking revelation, painting P. Diddy as a man who allegedly abused his power and broke the law. weaving a story that they believe proves his guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. They hammered home the key points, the texts, the recordings, the testimonies, leaving no stone unturned in their final push. Then it was the defense's turn. They came out swinging, attacking the credibility of the witnesses, offering alternative explanations for the evidence, and emphasizing the concept of innocent until proven guilty. They portrayed Diddy as a victim of a witch hunt, a successful black man being targeted, his words and actions twisted. They pleaded with the jury to look past the sensationalism and focus on the alleged holes in the prosecution's case. When both sides were done, a profound silence fell over the courtroom. The weight of everything that had been said, everything that had been revealed hung heavy in the air. Now, it was all up to the jury. Whew! So there you have it. 9 absolutely mind-blowing moments from the P. Diddy trial that have everyone talking, and for good reason. From shocking testimonies that peeled back the curtain of celebrity, to evidence that mysteriously vanished into thin air, and those damning text messages that just kept on coming. It's been a roller coaster, and honestly it feels like we've only scratched the surface of what's really going on. The surprise witnesses, the financial deep dives, the chilling phone calls. Each revelation has added another layer to this incredibly complex and disturbing saga. This trial is far from over, and these moments are just the beginning. The legal battles will continue, more secrets might be unveiled, and the world will be watching to see how justice plays out for a man who once seemed untouchable. What happens next is anyone's guess, but one thing's for sure. The implications of this case will resonate through the music industry and beyond for years to come, regardless of the verdict. It's a stark reminder that power and fame don't always shield you from accountability. We'll be keeping our ears to the ground and our eyes on every development. Stay tuned as we continue to follow this high-stakes case. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more updates. Let me know your thoughts down below. What moment shocked you the most? Who do you think is telling the truth?